And now, it's Boomer Life. Lifestyle discussion designed to make your life more engaging, meaningful, and complete. Celebrating the baby boomer generation, this is Boomer Life on CIL 650.
Thank you for being a friend. I want to thank you. Thank you for being a friend.
And this is Boomer Life on CIL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton. And for the next hour, we'll be talking about Alzheimer's disease and other dementias with a lineup of guests from the Alzheimer's Society of British Columbia. Their CEO, Maria Howard, is in studio with us today. So, Maria, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Maria, we don't always spend enough time learning a little bit about your background as we focus a lot of attention on our guests on this show. But maybe we can start today's show by telling us a little bit about your history and your passionate connection to the Society.
Oh, sure. Thanks, Joanne. I've been with the Society 3 years, and for the majority of my career, I'm a professional rehab counselor, and I've worked with a number of different organizations helping people with a whole mix of health issues and disabilities to really live a life of quality and inclusion and be a part of the community that they've always been a part of. And it's something I really feel very strongly about. And often many of those individuals I'm working with were in the senior age group. And as people were aging, they still wanted to contribute and they still wanted to have a big connection to the community, but with health issues on the rise, that became a different way that they had to approach that. I eventually worked my way sort of up the ranks in government and began to really understand about the necessity of policies and system changes to continue to help people. And throughout this, my mother had a diagnosis of MS. And so again, I also really intimately understood what it was like to support someone with the health issues. As my mom's MS progressed, she began to develop dementia. And so our family began that dementia journey. And so everything was sort of coming together. And I really spent a lot of time thinking how I could help and how I could help families who were touched by dementia to continue to have the best support, to continue to be a part of community. And so eventually I came to the Society, and it's been a wonderful experience. I've been able to do all the things I still love to do. I work with people every day who are touched by dementia, who have great drive and commitment to making a difference, which I find so energizing, and also it's very humbling in many ways. I get to be a part of policy changes and system changes, to work with our province, with our cities, to really look how we can help people who are living with the disease. Again, just have that quality of life that we all want. So it's been a wonderful experience for me, and meeting so many different people and the perspective they bring has really taught me a lot. So I love being here.
Oh, that's great. I see. I could never have said that about you in reading a bio. Thanks for your commitment and your passion. I think the timing is perfect too, because I do believe that you're a perfect example of a baby boomer in this situation where we have concerns for our aging parents, and also being an advocate for them and having a voice. And I do believe you're making a difference. So thanks for that.
Oh, well, thank you. I think everybody has something to share. And, really at the end of the day, it's like the dementia-friendly communities we've always been talking about. Everybody wants to be a part of a community, and we all do that in our own way, and we all have our strength, and we need to help people to put some of the myths and stigma of Alzheimer's and dementia to the side and look at people first and learn ways to support them, but also still engage everyone in our community. It's really kind of a simple concept in many ways.
Well, you make it sound simple. So now, when you were here back in January, it was Alzheimer's Awareness Month, and it was just winding down. It was the perfect time to talk about the important work that the Society has accomplished to date. On that show, we spoke with Paul Blanchette from Kamloops, who's a longtime supporter of the Society, and he is a primary caregiver for his wife, Linda, who has Alzheimer's and dementia. And he spoke about their experience of that entire dementia journey that they're on, and actually how the Society has supported them since Linda had received her diagnosis. On that January show, we also spoke with Daryl Plekas. Now, Daryl is the Parliamentary Secretary for the BC Minister of Health for Seniors. And it was a great opportunity to talk about the growth of dementia care, that's on that provincial policy level and talk about the role that the Society plays in advocating for policy that supports people living with dementia. So you obviously work closely together with the government.
It's so important to work with the government because ultimately the system changes that we need to support people and ensure that families who are living have the necessary supports and services that has to come from within the healthcare system. And so we have to advocate and help the government and the ministries understand the importance of doing this.
So we rounded out Alzheimer's Awareness Month in January, speaking with Tanya Mealing and Stephanie Woodward. They are the co-chairs of the Investors Group Walk for Alzheimer's, which is up in the North Shore. Well, it's everywhere, but they were from the North Shore department. They were a lot of fun and dedicated, kind of like the fun and games department of the society is what I called them. And they wanted to remind you that the Investors Group Walk for Alzheimer's is coming up in the visible future. It's May 7th this year. You can mark it on your calendar. And we will be talking a little bit more about that on today's show. So today, we're looking at the theme of partnership and working together to support people with dementia by revisiting dementia-friendly communities and talking about an initiative called Train the Trainer. As well, we'll be learning more about the Investors Group Walk for Alzheimer's, which is the biggest fundraiser for the society that they do every year. And before we begin all the details of today's show and introduce you to the next lineup of guests, we want to remind you that there's a lot of information available online about the Alzheimer's Society of BC, as well as a wealth of resources. And just visit the website alzheimerbc.org. So, Maria, just start us off today by clarifying the definition of dementia-friendly community and maybe share a few details about the Train the Trainer program.
Sure. A dementia-friendly community is a community that considers how it functions and supports people who are living with dementia and how they can exist within the community and participate. And that can range from such things like signages or buildings or mobility or access. It can range to safety in terms of educating people how to support someone who may look lost. It may range from helping people understand how to talk with someone who has dementia and again have a different level of conversation and a different way of communicating. It's really specific to helping people understand that in order to support someone who's living with dementia to have the best experience in the community, they may need to do things just a little bit differently and do something rather than do nothing. The dementia-friendly community relationship for the society started quite a few years ago, and it started with a number of partners, organizations who came together and said, let's start a dementia-friendly community, and what would it look like? And one of those partners was the City of Vancouver. And it's been a wonderful partnership because what the society and City of Vancouver has done is spent many, many, many hours thinking, how can we make the City of Vancouver more dementia-friendly? And what are the number of ways to do that? And, the Alzheimer's Society BC is a provincial organization, but our role is not to do everything in the province. It's to, again, find partners like the City of Vancouver and help train them to think about how they can provide a dementia-friendly community for the residents of Vancouver. So the Train the Train program is a program that we've worked with the City of Vancouver to look at how they can take key staff in their organization and their key departments and provide those individuals with the right training so that as their department is interacting with people who've been touched by dementia, both the staff and the people living with dementia can have a better experience.
Wow, sounds like a wonderful program, and I can't wait to hear more of the details as we unveil them throughout today's show. But also, we're going to meet a gentleman today. I think we've met him before, Mario Gregorio. He has been here. He actually has dementia. He lives independently, and he volunteers as a member of the Society's leadership group for people with dementia.
Mario is just a very energetic individual. He has been a close friend of the Society for a long time. And I think Mario is a great example of someone who is living the dementia journey, but is looking for many different ways to still participate in the community, to be safe, to be engaging. And I think listening to Mario and talking with him really helps us understand what we can do as a community to continue to support Mario to have just the best quality of life.
He'll be able to give us a first-hand perspective.
He's got a lot of tips, yes.
Excellent. Another guest on today's show is from the city of Vancouver. That'll be Carol Ann Young. And Carol Ann is a senior social planner with the city.
Yeah, and you know, social planning is the perfect place to start within the city to think about, again, the number of initiatives and policy that they set up and how can they take them and adjust them slightly to support all residents in the city, but also those living with dementia. And there's some really neat ideas that actually were started in other areas of the city that can be really easily transformed. So it goes back again to creating a dementia-friendly community doesn't have to be a complicated, multi-layered process. There's some very simple ways to do that.
And then we'll also have a chance to meet Monica Wallini. She'll be joining us for our Getting Involved segment of the show. Monica is going to be calling in to talk about the upcoming Investors Group Walk for Alzheimer's, which I mentioned earlier is May 7th this year.
May 7th is coming soon. It's hard to believe, but the Alzheimer's Society BC will be hosting its Walk for Alzheimer's, Investors Group Walk for Alzheimer's. We will have over 20 walks around the province, and it's a great way to have the community come out to raise awareness for those living with dementia, but also it's very important to help us raise funds for our society so that we can offer our programs and services throughout the province to those who really need the support to help them as they go along this journey.
Speaking of support, we should also mention to our listeners right now, if they ever have any questions about Alzheimer's or dementia, of course they can go and get information from their doctor, but then where do they go from there if they reach out to the society?
Well, there's a couple ways. They can certainly come onto our website, the alzheimerbc.org. The website is full of lots of information. We have a number of webinars and teleworkshops people can dial into, but we also have a provincial dementia hotline at 1-800-936-6033, and anybody can call that number during the week, during normal business hours, and speak to a trained staff or volunteer and just ask questions or share their story and get the help. We really want to encourage people to reach out and start the conversation. Don't do this alone. Please make sure you reach out to society so we can help. It's really, it's a tough journey to do on your own.
Thanks, Maria. It sounds like we do have a great cast of experts lined up for today's show, and I look forward to all of it, as I hope you do as well. We're going to get Mario on the phone right now and a chance to share his story next. So stay with us on Boomer Life on CL 650.
Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.